watching the clock, 10,000 hours go by. I keep putting in work, tears are filling my eyes. I swear I've never been tested like this, but this is mine. It's not a matter of chance, just a matter of time. Never look back. If something standing in my way, I always push back. If something seemed impossible, I never took that. Nah, cause now I know better. Can't stop, won't stop, I won't quit ever. Take me, the highest fall, it won't break me. The blood and sweat is what made me. I'ma get mine, just a matter of time.
Hey guys, welcome to the midway segment with Dangun and Pitori, where we talk about the things that happened in the game in a little more detail. So it is KT and GenG's first set. So there is a controversy over whether melee champs or range champs are better. And this time around, both sides pick the traditional ADCs and KT comes out on top. So people are saying that if range ADCs appear, the games tend to drag out longer and become more boring. So in the center of all these games, the highlights were beautiful initiation and very coordinated ganks. So we are gonna examine what happened in those beautiful team fights. So let's take a look slowly. So it was this fight. Sejuani goes in and picks up the Kog'Maw, and Tahm Kench devours Kog'Maw, and then Rakan goes to initiate, and everything goes very well for KT. Just purely looking at the initiation, it was definitely in favor of KT. And the team fight should have been definitely won by KT, but here Xin Zhao actually uses his ult to push out all the KT members. So Kog'Maw is able to kite thanks to Xin Zhao. And Yasuo also pushed over the cliff, and he's forced to flash. And with perfect aggro control, and that's how the team fight unfolded. Yasuo was actually exhausted in the team fight, which resulted in doing very little damage. Genji's combination relied more heavily on Kog'Maw, who actually did a pretty good job. So Yasuo definitely took a heavy damage loss due to the Xin Zhao pushing him away. So the team fight definitely wasn't oriented towards KT's favor. So GenG definitely did a good job in reflecting the team fight aggression. So in conclusion, KT's initiation was perfect, and GenG was also good in overturning the team fight. So definitely the matchup itself was very fun to watch as well. So here are a few comments from the fans. People are praising Score. As long as Score uses Smite well, he's good. And Mata's initiation was pitch perfect.
굉장히 초반에 강력한 신짜오를 상대로 세주아니로 영리하게 동선을 짜서 성장의 정적.
And you know, against Senjao, Sejuani was able to create a very efficient jungle passing.
원디라는 데프트에 대한 또 그리운 마음 오늘 한번 해소를 시키는 그런 경기가
You know, people are praising depth as well.
자, 그래서 1대 0으로 지금
So KT is ahead with 1-0.
젠지가 최근 폼이 너무 좋았고
You know, GenG's recent performance was really good. It was top notch. So people predicted that GenG would come out on top, but it was actually KT taking out the first set.
원딜 중심의 경기 이어지는 경기도 엄일 겁니다. 5대5.
알겠습니다. 저희는 여기서
Okay, so the one-line summary says it's 5-5.
Thank you very much for the translation, Andy. But wow, man, what a game one. That was pretty exciting, one might say, Papa Smithy, as KT walks away with the win, and Mata walks away with an MVP win, his second so far of the Summer Split, 1-0-8 on the Rakan, 100% kill participation, and good God, the engages were just so damn clean.
I mean, show you a reel of them, they were so beautiful. Playing the first pick Rakan, making it work. Weren't sure it was going to be Xayah Rakan. Rakan is a power pick. Just in and of itself, his first bot lane gank, perfectly coordinated. Smep, maybe he didn't need to come along, but he just wanted to be front row, and he's like, nice engage, guys. Going back to lane. From here, huge engage that led to the last breath. This wasn't actually a one-team fight, though, and you started to wonder, could Kog'Maw get there? Would he fully be online? Was there a late-game lifeline for GenG? Your first thought was yes, until the game really was slammed down onto the side of GenG, around top side, around the blue buff. This is all where the game was up in the air. Cuvée ended up going down. Top side, no further kills, but this one where Walla walked up, did not know Sejuani was going to come from the side. Smith flashes over. Even Cuvée with an Orin ultimate, the massive, almost global range it feels like, was not enough to turn it around. Def free hits, great game from him on an AD carry. To nobody's surprise, can KT Rolster keep it up? Because this is not the KT Rolster we saw earlier in the season.
Yeah, certainly not, but also have been seeing a lot more rush as of late, but with score back into the roster, Mata seems like he's feeling a bit more comfortable here with, you know, an engaged champion like the Rakan. They pull off a win against GenG, our current second place team, but can they get it 2-0? But what's that sound? That's gonna be a swap, Papa Smithy, and since the first game of the season for these guys, it's gonna be Ambition coming back in. He played versus Kingzone. It was a loss. Haru came in, they took the series from there. We have not seen Ambition since.
But if you think about it, isn't it what KT did, going from the aggressive, kind of ruthless jungler and then bringing in a slower paced jungler? If you say, hey, look who's in the meta, it's good old Sejuani. Ambition's like, yes please, one Sejuani. So things change, and maybe we'll have a lot more farming Skarner versus Sejuani jungle matchup. Yondu was provoking Sejuani bans yesterday, so people are starting to see that if the pendulum swings a little bit slower, the action isn't as thick and fast. Maybe some of those tank junglers can come back.
Well, now we're gonna have Vet versus Vet here as we jump into the draft for game number 2. GenG, of course, gonna be over onto that blue side now, and Ezreal still makes the ban list to no one's surprise.
We'll check in about GenG later in the season. You know more about him than I do these days. Kilios, but for GenG, will not be allowing there to be any Swain on the Rift, and I like the KT red side Ezreal ban. It's the first time we've seen GenG unable to pick up Ezreal Tahm Kench in the second round on blue side. That has been their standard draft. We sat there praising them, saying they can play the comps, they've got the meta, they can do the marksman. We don't know how generalized that is. They've tried Juggernaut twice and had it fail twice. And look at this, even the Tahm Kench not interested in Core JJ returning to that pick. This does mean a lot is open, because we don't often see Ezreal Tahm Kench in a first round. KT seem to be angling for 2 strong picks on the red side, and they're not really worried about the cost.
See where they're gonna go. Final bans getting ready to come through. Still a lot of power on the board. We saw Camille ban the first time out, and Morgana yet again. Now with GenG over onto the blue side, they will also have this as their 3rd ban.
Peculiar. It could also be to try to deny some funnel strategies like the Kai'Sa, as Kai'Sa with Morgana is a really strong duo.
Yeah.
Braum, Morgana, Kai'Sa is the, you hit those items, pretty GG situation. So
you see Kai'Sa banned here. Nope, it's going to be Rakan.
I think it's a necessary ban, to be honest, and it'll be really a departure from GenG, who are staunchly playing old meta, and now they've brought in Ambition, which usually suggests it's going to be more of that old meta. Wait and see. A lot opens. Zoe is a very common first pick when Nocturne is banned away, but was overlooked in our first series, and Lulu on blue side makes you wonder if GenG would be willing to muddy the waters and go for a Braum Kai'Sa in the next round. It's very possible, and KT know that, and that's why I don't envy playing against first pick Lulu when a lot of those funnel strategies are still online, because what's the correct draft? Knowing that whichever way you go, GenG either get a counter pick on what you're doing, or you're opting into the funnel comp, getting their maximum value. See how KT problem solve through. Shen priority a little bit lower in our first series, but has been pick-up ban status for the majority of summer. Strong flex pick. Smeb has had some great performances on top lane Shen in the past. Just go with the Shen. Could just take a jungler here. Now that Ambition is in the lineup, you start to wonder about what's going to happen when it comes to the jungle pool.
I could just take the Sejuani away right now.
Skarner's there,
Ambition's
Trundle's there. I guess there's other stuff, so you don't feel as pressured, but you do wonder, Kilios.
Was a loss on that Skarner. Sure, Ambition so far has only played that.
This is
He wants to
where
go back to it.
we need to get a bit Spo TV and say, GenG, reveal yourself. Are we funneling or are we not funneling? Power picking Sejuani would be the opposite of funneling. Uh-oh.
But, oh boy,
Uh-oh.
maybe it's a funnel.
We're funneling. But who is funneling? It's probably going to be Ruler. If it is going to be Braum, and yep, we're funneling, boys.
Yep, that's going to be the Braum locked in.
Now,
Show me a Kai'Sa.
outside chance it's not a funnel, but you really have to think it's a funnel when you see Lulu and Braum as the first two picks on blue side.
It's more than likely going to be a funnel.
It would be Kai'Sa as the strongest possible here. You can see Ruler is actually being very animated, discussing, and they will go for the funnel, the Kai'Sa comp, so that means Ruler in the mid lane, and probably bot lane from Fly on this Lulu, you would imagine. KT, again, we said you can't fully opt into the funnel. You can't fully answer it, not knowing if it will come. The mid lane will be the Zoe, and Yukar will be able to punish, and there is definitely some chance for the Trouble Bubble to be relevant. Expect a lot more CC stacked on by KT Rolster. Find ways to try to trivialize Kai'Sa popping off.
Camille, final pick there for KT. Ornn going to be banned away. Cuvée, not the most impactful Ornn performance that we've seen in recent history, but still going to be respect banning that one off.
What is the job of Cuvée in this comp? It's either to engage or be a meat wall. So if you ban away Mundo and Ornn, it's probably a good start when it comes to finding a way to deny some of the side lanes.
If they're going to have first pick on the red side, they could just try to leave the Mundo up, force a ban out from GenG, and then take it for themselves if it's still available.
Mundo does and
no.
doesn't do things against Kai'Sa. The problem with Kai'Sa, if you go AP Kai'Sa, it actually kills Mundo really fast. If you go
True.
National's Tooth and the early Rage Blade, so I actually prefer the Mundo ban, because pairing Mundo with Lulu is a frustrating thing regardless of whether the funnel is happening. So I like the bans on red side. What do you make of a first pick here? Probably going to be more lockdown. For jungle, Graves is pretty common against funnel because he clears fast, but can also just die instantly to a Killer Instinct and a Q. For KT, they look like they're going to return to Marksman. Lucian will be a strong laning phase. Lucian versus Lulu is what we're expecting to be the bot lane matchup. But look at this, Achilles. We do see Smite back on Ambition and Ignite back on Fly. Do you abandon the funnel halfway through the drop? It is possible. You could run Kai'Sa bot lane.
Trying to do it standard.
You could try and do it standard, and maybe they will. We're unsure as things go. With the Smite
Cho'Gath.
on Cho'Gath, the doubt is once again gone.
All right. Show locked in here for the side of GenG. Haven't seen that one as much as of late.
But it does fit the, I'm not quite Ornn, but I am going to be a meat shield in the
Yeah.
front and just interrupt the enemy. Final pick here is usually another support. Karma could certainly be that support.
Plenty of shields.
You're really frustrated you banned Morgana now because you'd love a Morgana here.
That's true.
But Karma does have similar utility, so this is a comp we've seen in the LCK multiple times, in the EU LCS multiple times, including last night. And we will talk about it more in-game. But basically, Ruler with Smite in the mid lane, getting every single bit of farm. KT knows there's not going to be an enemy jungler looking to gank people. They know a lot about what's going on, and seems like Smeb's going to jump on the Aatrox.
So Camille jungle here for score. Aatrox yet again for Smeb.
You can take very risky top laners. You can take overextending top laners like a Darius or an Aatrox. who want to overextend to have laning pressure because, again, the enemy doesn't have a champion who fits the traditional expectation of jungler. Kai'Sa has smite. Kai'Sa's going to be smiting away her camps, but she's not going to be side lane ganking with any reliability. That's why we're going to see Smeb go for the Aatrox. Not the best matchup early, but given that he can overextend, a lot of the parameters of what good lanes look like are different because you don't have an enemy jungler to respect. Shen is in the duo lane, and while he can all in a lot more freely and not worry about being ganked, it is double range versus Shen support, and that's painful, especially at early levels.
Yeah, gonna take a bit of a beating there. But GenG, Roller's still playing an 80 carry, so he has not broken the streak yet, but this is definitely gonna be leaning more towards the Gouda, as you like to put it here.
Oh yeah.
For this squad, for this bot lane. But so far, with Kai'Sa and Karma coming in, Core JJ and Ruler, they maintain their standard picks as they move forward. But is this going to be enough to beat KT in game number 2, or can they get ahead? They have a lot of aggression here on the side of KT. Zoe with Illusion, Aatrox, and Camille, plenty of damage to be found from this squad if they can get ahead.
There's so many specific timings. It's so tricky to beat this comp, and it is unbeatable if you pick up a Baron 20 to 23 minutes in. So it's going to be difficult to kill Eos.
All right, well, GenG need to bounce back, need to get this win here, forces into game 3 to try to close this one out over KT and upset the fans yet again. KT, can they get to 2-0? Let's find out as we jump onto the rift for game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 환영합니다.
Audience pretty full up now. We're at 6 p.m. here in Korea, the Seoul East Stadium. Some GenG fans showing up.
Hey.
Fan there on the right, and some Score fans as well. He knew today was the day.
He and I were aligned. He had the score, pick me, pick me, pick me, and I sent out the SOS on the cast yesterday, so Score is back. But what does Score make of this scenario where he's jungling effectively against no one? He's jungling against Ruler, who just kills camps and goes back to mid lane.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
To explain this strategy, as not everyone has played or even watched this funnel strategy. It started in the EU LCS, we're now the first to do it.
Not going to be landing the slow there. Get a bit of damage in with the shot from Core JJ, but Mata's still going to be fine.
The reason why they kept going after the chair shot from the Braum missed is that it was all about trying to get him to skill E at level 1 and then have a bit less pushing power. Does also mean they can invade pretty happily, and this is going to be blue buff steal coming through from the side of GenG, largely because of the Shen kind of going for a walk.
We're just going to take that one away. Now Score going to have to just operate around the top side of the jungle.
It's a bit of a bonus for the GenG duo. Usually, you don't spend any time in the enemy jungle this early. You start pathing from your red side to your blue side. See if any camps end up being denied. There's going to be some creeps denied in the mid lane. But it's going to be 3 camps pretty swiftly taken. You don't often see 3 camps. As we're watching the minion wave, there's only so much speed Yukal can push it with. Frustrating for Yukal as well. There was an adaptation, Schalke, when they faced this strategy. Admittedly, they lost, but the strategy they made was when they were running Zoe in a similar scenario, it was Zoe with smite. The idea that you can walk up to enemy raptors and smite away at least the big one.
Oh, in the bottom lane, though, things getting a bit frisky here as Fly goes down below half HP. Ignite going to be used out from Mata. Does have his flash down, though. So an exchange of summoner spells in the end. Deft holds on to both, so it's going to be KT coming out on top.
And if you notice, Fly was level 1, and that's what happens sometimes when a solo laner gets shuffled into the bot lane. Reading all the scenarios, it's pretty open secret that when the ranged minions go down, you hit level 2, but a lot of extra variables to consider. It is on a big stage here at the OGN Sangam East Stadium, and Fly misjudged. Nice little health trade advantage to KT, but I gotta say, the funnel's going pretty well for Ruler, and we have no doubts about his teamfight mechanics if he reaches the critical mass on this Kai'Sa.
Double buffs now going to be acquired here as Ambition is going to be wandering around low on the HP there for the Braum, but he'll be able to get the Scuttle Crab and go back to base soon enough.
Again, to finish the point, Ruler just goes around power farms. A lot of the ways for you to push have been nerfed. Mana costs, mana sustain. A lot of the champion pool no longer has shove potential, especially not this early into the game. Those paddle stars used to allow push around level 2. But now, of course, you need about level 7, maybe level 5 if you're lucky to push in with any kind of speed on a Zoe, so it takes a bit longer. And if you're not losing out on anything in the mid lane, your Kai'Sa ends up cheating the item curve. You don't have a Rage Blade at 14 minutes, you might have it earlier. Your second or third item rolls in. Theoretically, Braum doesn't need farm, as Score really should not die there.
That would have been pretty embarrassing.
Yes, it would be.
Welcome back, Dice to Raptors.
Wouldn't think the old man mechanics would include dying to Raptors, but there you go. But yeah, if Kai'Sa gets ahead of the item curve, the nerf Kai'Sa arguments certainly come out, because it turns out if your champion has all of the gold and you have Karma, Lulu, and Braum who don't need any gold to be relevant.
Oh, just shorted it too. Man, what happened?
Well, I could say the same thing about how the funnel strategy came up as a question, but again, the big takeaway is you can have a gold disadvantage, but if you have a certain amount of gold on one person and utility on other people who don't need items, that means that GenG's comp just overtakes that of KT.
JT, for now, going to be ahead, of course, but we've seen this enough times to know that that doesn't really mean much.
10,000 gold disadvantage victory for Fnatic the second time running the comp. 20-minute Baron vision is very important. The kind of checklist against the funnel, which is still kind of being developed. It's not 100% clear because we've seen like, what, 5 or 6 funnel games in the LCK and some around the world. Checklist is usually, can you take 3 outer turrets by 15 minutes and really put the map pressure onto the funnel? Because if they can't kill camps because they're being stolen away, that's a pretty good way to stop Kai'Sa having comical amount of farm by 20 minutes. So we'll see when the first turret comes down, if they can actually cause map pressure onto right now the Kai'Sa and Braum pretty much free farming around them.
Going to be Score waiting in the wings right now. Spotted coming in, but still not going to be able to find any real engage. Gal could land a wonderful Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto Ruler, but not going to happen, so he's just going to go his separate ways down here where the Scuttle Crab just respawned. Snatch that up here for his side.
A lot about playing around your lane pressure if you are against the funnel. Winning side lanes against the funnel is always a good thing. Because it's Lulu Karma, it's kind of frustrating because when you see Master Yi Taric, having a winning bot lane is actually really important. We saw Lulu Lucian do very well with the Master Yi Taric. But because it's the Kai'Sa, and you're running double utility bot lane, even if they lose lane and don't have a lot of farm, Lulu and Karma do stuff, and if they win lane or go even, they do stuff a bit earlier. So it's kind of frustrating because shutting down Lulu and Karma having a 25 CS lead actually means even less because it's the Kai'Sa specifically.
Score coming in from behind. That's going to be a TP in the back as Smeb gets ready to arrive. Fly and Core JJ going to be in a sticky situation and no one else is nearby to help stop this. Stun comes in, Score locking down Core JJ. He flashes to the side, they jump in on the Fly. Not level 6, can't get the wild growth. Knockup comes through from Smeb. And that's just going to be 2 kills, very swiftly picked up by KT and maybe even the first tower.
That was epically clean from the side of KT, and it's the tower that we have to focus on because kills sound important, but they're not. Getting structure, starting that snowball, 15 minutes we mentioned. The benchmark for 3 turrets, first one is 7 minutes.
Beautifully done there by KT. That go button and great pathing from Score as well. You can see we had that vision toggle go through. Just outside of the range of that control ward.
It's a bit slow as well. Ended up sharing gold with the Lucian. If he got out of the picture faster, it would have been more gold to Lucian. Maybe it doesn't matter, and having some gold on Score is going to have some merit, but I don't think that was intentional. That was a mistake.
I mean, they need him to lock down Ruler, and everybody has to just absolutely nuke him.
Seems like Ruler is going for the updated version of the item build. We saw this from Viper yesterday. Previously, it was Devourer into the Rage Blade into AD. But Viper was preferring the just stick with the machete and go for Rage Blade and Nashor's AP. Against tanks, I think that build is categorically better. I think you could argue against non-tanks. Most of the people playing Kai'Sa in the marksman role prefer the AP build, and again, you can understand the merit. Just going to talk about the different choices there.
His own Mata back, but he doesn't care. Just going to go ahead and take that control ward, trades one back out.
But the Devourer Blood Razor, having that as a first item means a lot of impact very early and a bit faster jungling. But the Rage Blade, I guess, overall going into the AP build seems preferred, so I guess that's why now there's a consensus that's the way to go.
So far, though, Yukal is actually keeping up in CS rather well. 89 to 92 here. As the wave gets ready to crash in, so we're going to stretch a little bit further ahead, but it's not going to be as oppressive as we've seen in the past from these funnel lanes, especially when it comes down to Bees and Teryx.
A lot of that is the very smart roam bot lane. Zoe has been able and is better than some champions at pushing up and actually creating a bit of pressure.
Isn't giving that much free time for Ruler to go farm out the jungle, so he's not surging forward already. Going to be missing out on these minions here.
We should also inspect, as well, I should just put up the Unbreakable will be fine. Inspect the control ward line, because again, enemy team doesn't have a jungler. Roaming through is, oh, okay, Yukal, need to run away. Enemy team doesn't have a jungler, so clearing out control wards usually happens a lot less freely when you're on the team that is doing this funneling, and thus the ward line's getting pretty aggressive by KT Rolster.
Score feeling perfectly fine to go ahead and push up. Oh, just a little bit sooner with that Prey Seeker, and maybe we would have been able to find that pick off onto the red buff. Now Score wrapping around as the turret is just under fire. KT playing this so very well. Calling from the side, out from depth. Already a fishing down a half HP, but that's going to be exhausted onto the Camille and Score. He's got nowhere to go. He goes gold and he'll throw down the ultimatum. But he is just going to be mincemeat there as Ruler finds the first kill for GenG.
Too deep from KT Rolster. They did not need to go that aggressively. They wanted to zone and take the turret, not dive in. The kill goes to Ruler, who gets double buffs as well. Not the smartest play there from Score. Does release some pressure from the side of GenG. Suddenly camps that before they would have been taking a risk to get to, and now going to be easier. The gold also allows Ruler to get going earlier. It's not going to decide the game, but it's the first noticeable mistake against the funnel by KT.
Mata going to go ahead, dash away. Sim himself safe. Void Seeker, Prey Seeker is Rek'Sai. There we go.
Turns out there's a lot of abilities like that. Portal Jump, Realm Warp, all those sort of things.
So many characters in the game, it's hard to go ahead and keep up with every single ability. Especially when you have champions like Nidalee and Jace and you have to worry about multiple names.
Well, Riot Games is obliged to release them a lot slower at least. So otherwise name confusion would have been almost inevitable if they kept on that 3-week release schedule from 2011.
I remember making flashcards when I was first getting ready to start casting of just all the champions that were in the game at the time. It's back in 2012, so wasn't nearly as many, but still quite a many few.
And then the League of Legends
going
Wikia.
through and trying to do all of them.
League of Legends Wikia came through, and now we get cheats sometimes.
Yep, now I have a laptop and I can just Google stuff.
Here's a bit of
The future is now.
some insider trading for you guys at home. When a caster pronounces a very off-center kind of difficult name that's not like Slicing Maelstrom or particularly good onomatopoeia, they're probably looking it up. You know, they're just casually talking about, say, the name of Pike's W. They're probably looking it up.
Those ones I have written down. I came prepared. Every time there's a new champion, I do that, or a rework. Mata just gonna take a bit of damage, but he'll be fine. So we're gonna back him up. But yeah, those ones go in the notebook. But anything else, good old Google.
I know Bone Skewer, and I guess X marks the spot. Is what I would call the ultimate. His dashy thing and his invisibility
I'm
thing.
gonna start a petition to call X marks the spot.
That'd be a good name, wouldn't it? Even if you kill them on the X account. So
Yeah.
it's the spot that's important.
That's true. Man, that's so much better than Death from Below. Somewhere, whoever worked on Pike, they're crying.
Cool champion. Please fix the audio bug on the W. Spectator, otherwise cool champion.
Yeah. Haven't gotten to cast it yet. We saw the flash from it last week from Mata, but didn't go for it. Hasn't really picked up. Mata just keeps running at people. Fearless, this man.
We've had the time to digress. Lets you know the pressure valve has been removed from GenG for a little while. Suddenly, 148 CS, but made a good point that Yukal's also killing some creeps. He's at 138, only 10 below, and he doesn't have Smite like we saw from Nukeduck from Schalke to be able to boost his numbers. So this is purely just being present on the map, and choosing really good back timings. It's very difficult to do this. He didn't even go for a lost chapter, you know. It's actually double magic pen for the, hey, if you overstep, I do a surprising amount of burst at level 9 onwards build. So making that happen was tricky from Yukal. So credit to him for being a one-man army to try to keep the funnel honest, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, and him being, you know, this close in CS, all the more likely that maybe he can just assassinate Ruler. When those trouble bubbles comes through, Paddlestar, he's gonna blow him up. So Yukal keeping up very nicely.
If that happens, I question what the other 4 people were doing, who should just be standing in front. Even the Karma should be like, oh, whatever. As long as I'm the one getting hit, it's fine.
Everybody else is already dead, I guess.
I guess so. That could happen, you're right. Aatrox pushing up very aggressively bot side. Already 2 daggers towards
Just gonna get that tower.
the attack speed, and you're right. We'll pick up the turret. Smeb said in an interview after their last victory over BBQ that he prefers the Trinity Force build. See if he sticks with that or if he goes for Rage Blade. Trinity Force gives you 20% CDR, so you can take to the flight of the Dark Flight more often. I didn't have the will open for that one, I remembered it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you actually had that one.
I think the healing on his W is Bloodthirst, but I actually don't know what the other one is. It's Blood something and Blood something, I'm pretty sure.
Very thematic.
Sure. Meb's being annoying. Again, he's doing very well into the Cho'Gath because he had no jungle presence against him, so he could just kind of do whatever he wanted. Cho'Gath's threat is mostly, hey, if my jungler's here and I knock you up and silence you, you're probably dead. And speaking of dead, finally that mid lane turret goes down. 15 minutes hit. It is 3 turrets for KT, but not the 3 you'd expect. It's 2 in the bot lane and 1 in the mid.
Yeah, Herald's going to be used to take that one down. It only had so little HP remaining that I almost feel like that was a waste of a Rift Herald, but not sure how much longer there was left on it.
It's also about the speed of the rotation and where the top lane minion wave was, so it's basically for economy of time, they've been able to walk up, and you see that Shen and Lucian were zoning away from the turret. We can't see the health, but it'll be below half, I would imagine.
KT peeling away. Wanted to steal away the blue buff, but they didn't want to recreate the moment from last game where they were actually able to win.
And Ruler has recreated the build we saw yesterday from Viper, where he went for QSS second. That was against a Skarner. There's still a lot of CC on the side of KT, and you want to respect all the magic pen that's on Yukal, but that also means that his second item, which is usually when you really take off his Kai'Sa, something like the Nationals Tooth, is going to be pretty significantly delayed. KT right now are basically as 5 all going to roam together, and if they're not caught in an outnumbered team fight, they have to be pretty confident they're in a position here. They're even ahead of the 6,000 gold lead. It's probably about an 8,000 effective gold lead because of the fact that the QSS had to be itemized. And this is the Observer showing you that when you have no jungler and your side lane's in pretty good order and can just overextend aplenty, you're not going to take much turret damage.
Yeah, right now GenG, they need to just find picks in order to get in range to actually take down these towers, and they have not been able to do so. Just 1 to 2 here. KT have been very comfortably ahead this entire time.
Ruler does not feel strong enough to start Ramboing in with the Killer Instinct onto a Zoe. Probably a smart move. It's a game where stats from last season are actually fun to discuss. When I was doing my prep for the LCK final, right, we're kind enough to send over a kind of a tableau, but it's a kind of like an Excel spreadsheet of all the numbers for the teams in the regular season. And Deft and Mata had a 60%, I think it was like 67% forward percentage, which means that they stand in front of the halfway point of the lane. They overextend, I guess you would say.
50% of the time.
Which is insanely high. Average is around 30 or 25. Yeah. So they, of any team in the world, were pushed up the most. Now you're Deft and Mata, super talented laners, pushed up, and there's no enemy jungler to gank you to make you pay for being overextended. Being overextended is actually the way you play against a funnel comp because it doesn't really exist. You can't really be overextended with no jungler.
Well, that's going to be Stand United here. They're looking for Fly Flash over the wall. Mata finds the taunt, and they just melt down that Lulu. Fly did not stand a chance. Ruler's saying, this is fine, don't worry, I'll carry.
And look, knowing where you should be as Fly is difficult. You're in a side lane, you're on a Lulu, you die very, very fast, and you have almost no map control. But that's why I look at the QSS and say, why not build Nationals Tooth as fast as possible and have 5 people group up, put shields and buff up onto the Kai'Sa rather than buy the QSS, delay your items, and then lead to these awkward spots where someone's going to get picked.
And yet again, KT just keeping up the pressure now, knocking down the inner turret in mid. I don't know if GenG can stop this, and Minion's gonna finish it off. That's 5-0. Gold surges further ahead. KT just keeping up the pressure.
And they've reached the checklist. They have the turrets they want. They are very far ahead at 18 minutes. But again, we have seen video of how this can change at 20. Baron control is the final part of the checklist. You don't need to take it, but you need to make sure that GenG don't burst it down. They will do it very, very quickly. Ardent Sensor, Rage Blade, and the Stinger for attack speed means a lot of damage and threat onto Baron, and they even have the Secure of the Cho'Gath as well.
Well, Baron's going to be spawning here onto the Rift just under a minute. Dragons haven't been the kindest to us. It's going to be triple Cloud Drake. That's a very rare occurrence. But I'm sure GenG would actually like it. Just that extra movement speed for Ruler in these team fights. Just keep skirting around the outside here with the Kai'Sa, and then find that moment when you could dive in with the Killer Instinct.
And Score has gone for the I just want to ult the enemy funnel champion and then probably die in the AoE build, going for Guardian Angel early. Same build we see from Rush on Nocturne. It's an initiating build, and locking down for multiple seconds onto the Kai'Sa is definitely what KT want to do. They want to do it soon, but right now they're hitting the side lanes, so for now, free push.
We'll go ahead, be able to take down this tower. The first one here for GenG in game 2. Falls back a little bit of gold. Opening up the map, that's going to be the biggest thing, but now they're losing out onto the inner turret there in the top side.
KT
as well,
have
putting
push,
pressure on the bottom.
but they don't have wards on Baron. Baron spawns now.
This could be where things start turning around. Smeb trying to create some pressure, trying to draw them away from that objective. It seems like it's going to be working, so not going to be trying to rush down for the Baron. Smeb, in the meantime, he's just going to go ahead, try to knock down that turret. Has to take the Dark Flight away as Fly and Cube arrive.
He gets a lot because he draws 2 people bot side. They're able to clear wards, 3 control wards, 4 control wards in basically an L shape. It's a bit of a Tetris block there. Can just be taken down and denied off the Rift. So it's a big advantage in vision control from Smeb drawing them bot.
And Depth is going to be able to knock down this turret as well. No one really nearby. They'll start working their way over. For JJ starting to arrive with Fly, but he gets it. 6-1. Nearly 10,000 gold in the lead is KT at 20 minutes.
There's so many coaches around the world that will watch this VOD and say, just do exactly this against the funnel comp. It's been pretty immaculate 21 minutes by KT Rolster, but we know that it can still swing. The pendulum is still available to be swung to Ruler. Ruler now has his it's time to man mode items. He has the Nashor's Tooth, he has the Rage Blade. USS was there early.
Oh. Mission still pushing forward. Not going to be able to find anything. In the meantime, KT, they're all grouped up. They're hovering around towards the Baron.
They have a triangle of control wards. They know there is no vision from the enemy team, and they have Zoe to try to pick someone as they come to face check. Let's see how GenG plays around this area. KT not fully committing to the Baron. They don't have a true tank, so tanking the Baron is tricky for them.
Smeb, you can see he's just handling Cube right now. He's just going to be diving in, looking to take down that tower. Takes a bit of damage, though, in the exchange. Cube finally finding some ground to stand on. Works him low, but Smeb has the passive ready to go.
Would love to just go to the Krugs and use Rage Blade to heal up very quickly, but the Krugs have not spawned, so he'll back away.
Score waiting over the wall. He's going to jump in. He's going to look for the pick up there. On a Ruler. He's already down so low. Wildgo comes through the shield there, but it's not enough. Score assassinates the Kai'Sa, and this is where everything goes sideways for GenG. A double kill over to the veteran here on the side of KT Rolster, and now they are looking at yet another Baron to close out this game and this series.
And that's why you go GA Camille. He knows his only job is to put the ultimatum onto the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa dies first, the top falls apart. This will be Baron to KT, barring a miracle.
He might miss, might just spill over into a victory for KT as well, unless Ruler can get back up and find an explosive team fight. KT have been in full control of this game.
Waiting to see a team do well against the Kai'Sa variant, seemingly the strongest variant of the funnel. There is Score on your screen, has not played since that single game earlier in the season. Almost died to the Raptors, that wasn't his best look. This one, however, comes in, perfect timing. The ultimatum means no escape for Ruler. Dies through the utility from the Lulu, and it doesn't matter about your ally health bars or the enemy health bars. If the Kai'Sa dies first, so does the hopes of GenG.
Well, Ruler back up. USS on cooldown. Now he's got a stopwatch as well in the inventory. We'll see if that is going to be enough to keep him alive through another ultimatum. But Baron up minion's going to be pushing down towards these few remaining towers that GenG have. It's 6-1 in that regard. All of the inners and outer turrets have been taken. Just going to be the inhibit and Nexus turrets remaining. Smeb already doing quite a bit of work here down on the bottom side. Pushing into the base. It's going to be that much more difficult because that's exactly where GenG is going to have to be staying.
And I'm sure long-time KT fans were feeling confident today, and you might say, well, that's silly. They've been playing pretty poorly. They're coming off the match against BBQ. What is there to feel sorry about? Remember that KT Rolster is an abbreviation of KT Roller Coaster, and if they're just down the whole season, that's a crappy roller coaster. No one goes to that roller coaster with no ups and downs. You need ups, you need excitement to get the inevitable depression. There's a lot to be excited about here. They haven't closed this game, but it's quintessential KT to see them show up against GenG, find a new level of performance, and pull off an upset, and they are so close to it.
They have to stay very far forward just to catch the minions to stop them from chipping away at that tower. Because one more wave, honestly, left alone would be able to take that one down, and Deft even able to get some damage in onto the top side here as he chunks that one out to half HP. So KT not relenting with the pressure. Score hovering nearby. Core JJ is going to be here to back up QV.
Lucian's top sides, they know they can't fully commit. They do not want to see a Kai'Sa rolling in with Killer Instinct. The threat is always big playing these two lanes.
Smeb jumping away. And we're still so dangerously low as Fly tries to clear out against Deft.
He has no selfish itemization, and of course the AD carry has only selfish itemization, so that's pretty scary.
There's the trouble bubble, but not going to be the Battle Star. Cal knows it. And she's just going to be there to stand in front, but it's going to be a dog pile in onto QV, down to half HP. Ultimatum going to come through, the turret's going to fall. Seems like KT going to be happy with that one, and Smeb does have the flash away as that exhaust comes through for JJ, keeping himself alive, and in the meantime, it's going to be Deft taking out that first inhibitor in the top side.
It's actually a mistake from GenG. I think they have to fully commit on bot side. They know they'll be split, but if they just back away, they lose everything.
Strangled.
They're losing everything, Achilleos.
Cal dashing forward gets a little bit more damage here into the mid lane.
We have seen 0 aggressive uses of the Killer Instinct at 25 minutes. It may have been well played, KT, but you need to be decisive. You need to say, I've got the items I've got. I feel confident in my play. It's Ruler, one of the most mechanically gifted players in the world. They pull away, they lose the inhibitor, they don't punish, and KT say, let's back away and do it one more time.
Might just come down to that one fight here for Ruler to try to get the victory. He gets this massive pick, everything poured onto him, but we haven't even seen anything remotely close to a pop-off. Just him getting caught the one time. Otherwise, almost no aggression from this Kai'Sa.
Consider what he has. He has a Knight's Vow, an Ardent Sensor, the Redemption that will be channeled in his direction, and Mikhail's, and the Karma Shield, and the Karma movement speed, the Lulu Shield, and the Lulu Wild Growth. He has everything for him, but if he's in the back line being afraid to go in or looking for a better spot, when is the better spot? If you have already an inhibitor down now, out of position for Baron, I guess at a second Baron you can hope that everyone groups from KT and that you just fly in there and have everything at the same time. But the question is always, is there a better spot than now? And it's an evolving argument. We see those famous games where SKT comes back from 15,000 gold where they say, we found the spot, now is the time. We're unclear if Ruler will ever get a better time than him just trying to go in onto those members in the bot side.
Guardian Angel there, now for Deft. It's 2 members on the side of KT that they have to kill twice with that and the Aatrox. We're doing a significant amount of damage here, as you can see, clearing out the minion waves, but needed to see him try to go for the fight. As the Kai'Sa, it doesn't really match his identity. When you think about his, his champion pool historically, Varus, Ezreal, something like that, can skirt around the outside of the fight, wants to poke in, doesn't really want to go forward. Kai'Sa, he's got to do it. He's got to change that mentality. He has to dive in if he wants to find success, if he wants to take this to game 3.
Always go forward. Speaking of going forward, we see GenG roll in. When will we finally see them pull the trigger? Does it need a cheeky Void Seeker on a carry? Does it need something that right now isn't going their way? KT aren't able to move the game forward. It might be a 14,000 gold lead, but don't let that make you into thinking that this game is over.
Double bubble does connect in the end. Ruler just going to get swept up as Smeb and QV doing a bit of a dance here around this inhibitor. They cannot step away from this wave at all. Smeb just keeps trying to chunk out that Cho'Gath, but that is proving to be a difficult task for Boggs is there. Not to mention just the passive in general.
The most fed Camille we've seen in a long time. Trinity Force and Guardian Angel free 30 minutes. Some people don't even get the Trinity Force. In fact, most of our junglers that we've seen so far this season have struggled. But there's been plenty of things to farm. Speaking of farm, it's 414 CS on Ruler. He's got plenty of gold. He now has the death cap for comical amounts of missing health damage on the Kai'Sa. The only thing you can say for GenG is there has to be a fight where KT group as 5 and run at them, because the Nexus has to explode for this game to end. And we saw previously it is very tricky, sometimes nigh on impossible, to actually do that against a Kai'Sa with this much gold.
They can find a pick. That's what they need yet again. Edge to do it once. One more follow-up pick would really seal the deal here for KT. But how about another Baron? That's going to be coming up here. Just about 20 seconds. Top and him still down for another minute.
Surreal part of this sort of a meta where you have this funnel comp and there's already been proof that you can win from comical gold disadvantages is we'd never have this much sense of foreboding or this much honest questioning of who will win. It's a 14,000 gold lead. It should just be KT rolling over. That inevitability isn't there. Ruler, is it time? It is!
It's going to be the killer instinct finally used, but the Dark Light takes Smeb up to the other side of the wall where Score is waiting. That fuel sweep going to slow up too. Ruler joining back in, comes over the blast cone. Smeb getting shredded down. Shields coming in from the Stand United, still going to be alive, and Ruler just cannot finish him off, and now they're just going to turn in looking for the Baron. In the meantime, Death is taking down another inhibitor in the bot lane.
And Kyle pushing up.
The damage, GenG, they have corralled themselves inside of the Baron pit here. It's down to half HP. TP's coming through from Cube as well as Def as all hell breaks loose. Big pop-ups coming through. Ambition gonna go down and GenG tries to retreat. Ruler gonna go golden. Smeb still alive. Ruler flashing away, but he's been taken out. It's a double kill. Over to you, Cal. 2 more kills spilling over, and KT have done it. They're looking for the 2-0 here. Only Fly left alive. He's nowhere near the base. Inhibitor respawns in top, but it doesn't matter. KT can rush this one down.
Actually even pick up the exit kill. How about you go golden, UCal? A golden performance from KT. They beat the funnel, they beat GenG 2-0, and exactly what the fans wanted. They have finally reared their heads. They've shown up in summer. That's always been the season for KT Rolster, and they take down GenG and make you think that perhaps next time they'll do it again.
But not what the fans expected, wanted, sure, but you think back to that fan vote. It was only 33% for KT. Everybody fully confident for the most part that GenG was going to come in here and smash their way to victory, but KT, formerly in 7th place, now going to be jumping forward as they find a 2-0 victory over our 2nd place squad.
That's just how KT does it. KT live on opposite day Achilles. They've always been the team to find so much support, but not be able to channel it into the results that honestly the lineup and the fans have demanded. This season so far has not been impressive. Score in his earlier performances looked off the boil. He needed a bit of a time, and he had that leg injury that maybe was affecting things more than we could have expected in competitive video gaming, but he comes back together. He's back on the lineup. The team is squared up. This is not the same team that took the rib 2 days ago against BBQ and won 2-0, but was very unconvincing. This is a very convincing 2-0 win from KT, and it makes you wonder about GenG, who won 4 series in a row, with Ezreal Tom Kench being their fallback. Their fallbacks were targeted and removed by KT, and in the end, the new and the old were tried, and neither of them worked.
Also, just odd decision to bring Ambition in as well, as he has not played since the first match day here for GenG. Take another look at the fight. UCal is popping off the artillery. Zoe coming in from the sidelines. Ruler, nothing that he can do.
And it was kind of a budget Camille Galio with the Camille Aatrox, because Dark Flight in is that same AoE knockup. The damage is certainly higher. The Camille, I think, was the golden pick against the Kai'Sa, because for once, with all the shields in the world and even a stasis, death was still achieved onto that Kai'Sa.
Well, GenG gonna have to VOD review this one for sure. Think about how they're gonna approach their next matchup. Try to bounce back and keep climbing the standings, maintain that top 3 spot. In the meantime, KT, the win is going to be very relieving here for these guys, especially Score, who makes his way back into the starting position. Seems like it's an injury. We've got some crutches in the booth.
That's what I was saying. He has a leg injury
Oh, right.
pre-existing for a while, so his mobility when it comes to physical mobility is a little bit less. Again, hard to say what that means for gaming. You'd hope nothing, but he comes back into the lineup. Unexplained absence for a little while. Rush, I think, will still be an important squad member for KT.
I was gonna say the second leg injury that we've had on KT. Hachani breaking both of his feet before.
Former KT favorite Insect with his famous stadium dive in years past. But this was KT Rolster saying, screw you, EU Kaiser strategy, we've got the answer. And it didn't necessarily seem from Champ Select that they had everything together to cleanly answer, but the little parts came together in better ways than we could have expected, engineered by Score. Maybe we'll skip over almost dying to the Raptors at level 3, but the rest of it was pretty good.
There was 2 hiccups. It was almost dying to Raptors, and then the over-aggression in the mid lane
Donation.
that did, donated that kill over to the Kai'Sa. But other than that, completely immaculate from KT as a whole, and Score in particular there with the Camille. Managed to find that pick-off on to Ruler, and then everybody was just on the same page throughout this series.
Is it wrong that the rune choice of Last Stand on Camille really amuses me, because he doesn't usually have the ability to fall low and be relevant, but he's just saying, I'm going in on the Kai'Sa and I'm probably going to die, but maybe if I do enough damage, it'll be fine. Last Stand certainly on the Aatrox, very common there. Nice little squash onto Fly, who was caught in the side lanes a little bit, and I think we have to criticize the person the comp was built around Ruler, not showing the aggression required to actually force KT into questions earlier in the game. By the time we saw the first aggressive Kai'Sa play, the game was so snowballed away from the side of GenG.
Didn't matter, they didn't even get the kill, Smith got away.
This was the play where Kai'Sa at any point can say, let's go in and clean up. You might say, oh, but look at the minimap, Lucian's gonna take this inhibitor. If they back away, he's still gonna take the inhibitor, get 3 kills and run at the Baron, see what happens.
Yeah.
If you pull and look for a better time, this was their final decision. Let's Rambo on the Baron. This is what they waited for. And a huge taunt from Mada into a wombo engage from KT was enough to lock them down.
Maybe not the most practiced strategy here from GenG. They thought maybe they could just kind of bring it out, find an easy win. But I think it's going to be back to the drawing board on that one. In the meantime, KT Rolster, you have to applaud them. Fantastically done. Seems like they knew coming into today exactly how to dismantle and play around that Kai'Sa composition. And they do it beautifully. But now we'll go ahead and throw it over to Andy for our interview translation. So Andy, take it away.
Hello guys, welcome to the post-game interview. And KT takes down GenG 2-0 and claims the back-to-back victory. 네.
네, 사실은 양 선수 모두 몸 컨디션이 그렇게
Both of you, you guys are not in the best condition right now.
해야 될 것 같아요. 뭐 스코어 선수는 또 첫 인터뷰도 하니까
Score,
팬들에게 인사 좀.
How about you first, since it's a first interview?
어색해요?
Is it awkward? No, not really.
안녕하세요.
Hello,
국대 정글러.
I'm the national reps jungler Score
네.
for KT.
그 스코어 선수 인사를 한 김에 사실 오늘 스코어 선수가 아예 선발 기용이 된.
So Score, you were actually the starter today.
또 굉장히 재미가 있었던 것 같아요.
So, you showed a lot of good performance and it was very fun to watch.
정글러. 그리고 최근에는 아무래도 좀 러시 선수 출전 민도도 높아서.
And recently, Rush actually came out as the supporter a lot of times. So, what do you think about Rush?
일단 이번 주 같은 경우에 제가 수술을 해가지고
This week,
선발 자체를
I actually had surgery, so
나올 수 없는
Rush had
상황이었고, 오늘은 뭐
to start for the team this week.
어제 연습을 한번 하고 나오게 됐어요.
And today I'm here after a little bit of scream.
스코어 선수라고 하면 좀 느낌이 있나요? 든든한가요?
How does it feel to play with Score?
다른 게 이제 동빈이 형은
Something different with Rush is that
많이 했으니까 선수
Score, he has the experience. He's more self-oriented.
같은 경우에는 저희가 이제 케어를 해줘야 되는.
And for Rush, we have to really care a lot about him, and we have to provide him with support.
그래가지고 좀 약간 그런 거에 이제
So you know,
저희가
it's that
신경이
minor
많이
difference
쓰이다
that
보니까
Score, you know,
저희
tends to play
플레이가
well
좀
alone, and then for Rush we have to, you know,
데프트
care for him.
선수가 사실은 누구를 이렇게 챙긴다는 게 상상이 잘 안 돼.
You know, it's hard to believe that Devs actually takes care of someone. But alright.
마타 선수가 지난 경기 때 이제 좀 컨디션이 안 좋다는 말씀이
You know, Mata, you told us that last time you were actually not in a good condition,
되도록
know,
좀
health-wise.
스코어 선수와 이야기를 많이 좀 편하게 나눠 보도록 하겠습니다. 어쨌든 이제 연승 성공을 했는데 오늘 좀
So you know, you claimed back-to-back victory today, and it seems like you really prepared a lot of strategies.
그 바텀 어떤 원거리 딜러 간의 대결 여기서 좀 희망을 KT도 찾으신 건가요?
So you know, today, you know, back-to-back games, there were both traditional ADCs. So do you think you guys are stronger in a traditional ADC matchup?
데프트 선수가 많이 잘하기 때문에
You know, Deft is definitely really good at the range ADC matchup. And you know, just facing head-to-head with ADC, Deft was able to come out on top.
스코어 선수가 나와서 세주안이로 고르고 막 원데이들이 또 막 나오고 막 이 세트에서 앰비션이 나와서 또막
Score, you played jungle today. You know, in the first set it was Haru, in the second set it was Ambition.
예전 그 약간 정서 그리고 막 탱정
And you know, Score, it seems like you're more like going back, reverting back to the traditional junglers like Sejuani.
제일 자주 나오는 정글러가 녹턴이랑
You know, the most frequently appearing junglers right now are like Nocturne, and I feel like in the current meta, Sejuani is really not a bad jungler.
새로 시작했는데 다들 그냥 재미없으니까 안 하고
You know, it just feels like people don't play Sejuani because it's not fun to play.
조금씩은 나오지 않을까 생각하고.
But I think in the near future, Sejuani will appear a lot.
딜템 가고 이러려고 약간 안 하는 것 같다.
나이해야 되고 막.
You know, it feels like people are more obliged to play mastery.
역시나 마타 선수의 빛과 같은 이니시가 굉장히 인상적이었는데 그 경기 장면
Okay, your initiation was really good. Let's have a look at the highlight.
코로 오갔는지도 한번 물어보도록 하겠습니다. 이때 마타 선수 예측으로 들어가는 거죠?
So you actually predicted
일단
your initiation.
스코어 선수가 이게 어그로를 끄면은
Score was, you know, able to get all the aggro, and you know, while everyone else was focused on him, we were able to take down the other members.
터지지는 않았던 것 같은데.
You know, the team fight wasn't a really big victory like you imagined it would be.
이제 한타 장면을 보는데 잠깐 대기실에서
So you know, in the waiting lobby, we were actually revised the team fight.
증거 보니까 이제 야소가 좀 트롤 해가지고.
And you know, Yasuo was actually trolling a little bit, so you know, we couldn't really come out on top of the team fight.
에게 뭐 들어가는 그런 장면이 있었는데, 근데 야스오라는 챔피언 자체가 사실 어떻게 보면 너무 극과 극이다 보니까.
You know, Yasuo is an extreme champion. Sometimes it shines, and sometimes it's just very bad.
마타님한테 물어볼까요?
What's your opinion on Yasuo?
그렇게 불안하진 않고 이제 조합적으로 좋다고 생각하기
I feel like Yasuo is not a really risky pick, and I think in certain compositions it can work out really well.
상대가 요즘 가장 잘 나간다는 카이사 조합이 나왔는데.
You know, the opposition, GenG, they picked Kaisa, which is pretty OP right now.
그 전에 혹시
뭐 요새 자주 나오는 픽이라서
It definitely appears a lot in LCK,
그거에 대해서 이제 생각을 많이 하셔서.
and we definitely prepared a lot of tools in order to counter that.
나오자마자 거의 할 수도 있다 정도.
And as soon as they picked Lulu, I knew they were going for the Kaisa.
뭐 카이사를 잡아먹는 그런 장면이 또 결정적으로 나왔었는데 그때 보면서 또 어떤 판단이었는지 저희가 한번.
You know, a lot of times you guys were able to pick out the Kaisa. Let's have a look at the highlight.
다 같이 한 번에 확 덮치는 모습. 이거는
Perfectly synchronized.
이런 파밍을 스코어 선수.
뭐 사실 원딜러들이 좀 파밍을 좀 좋아하다 보니까.
You know, ADC players, they all love, you know, CS, like getting CS, farming, you know, being greedy. So you know, I knew that would happen, and then I just went in and killed him.
하는 듯한 느낌을 받았는데 운영적으로 계속 좀 이제 그 리스크를 낮추는.
You know, macro-wise, it felt like KT was always like ahead.
이게만한 좀 유리한 상황 아니었나요? 그러니까 진짜 그 카이사 조합을 어느 정도로 무서워하시나요 혹시?
So how much do you, how do you think Kaisa composition works against your team?
연습이 돼 있는 상태가 아니다 보니까.
그렇죠.
뭐 최대한 변수 없이 가자. 그래 이렇게만 해도 이긴다라는 콜로.
You know, their Kaisa composition was actually really scary, but we had the tools to counter it.
중에도 해설분들이 계속 강조해 주셨지만 카이사의 파밍 자체를 어마어마하게 좀 KT가 억제를 했는데
You know, as the casters have emphasized before, Kaisa was able to get a lot of farm, and as he had CS funnel to him.
같은 경우도 유카 선수 같은 경우도 미니언 해체 분석기도 쓰고 라인 푸시 어마어마한
And Yuka was able to push out the lane heavily thanks to the help of minion dematerializer.
이게 확실히 좀 준비가 된 건가요? 이렇게 하면 우리가 말리게 할 수 있다, 파밍 못하게 할 수 있다?
그 부분은 일단은 저희 팀의 러시 선수가 이런 거에 대해서 좀 빠삭하기 때문에
You know, Rush actually is very informed in like these, you know, skirmish and strategies,
그럴 때
네네.
이미 메타가 바뀌어 있었어가지고
and he's really good at those shifting
러시 선수의 도움이
metas.
좀 컸던 것 같아요. 그런 부분에 대처할 때.
그런 부분은 좀 더 이해도가 높았던 러시를 보면서 배웠다.
Yeah, I guess Rush had more understanding of the meta.
혼자 재밌지 말고 같이 웃어요 우리.
마타 선수.
Mara, how about you smile a little bit as well?
네.
오늘 또 바텀에서 어쨌든 많은 분들이 그래서 좀 재밌어 하셨던 게 결국에
You know, the funny thing about the ball lane was that everyone just uses the same ADCs, like Kaisa, Lucian.
중요했고 정말 다 연결돼 있겠지만 마타 입장에서 좀 오늘 경기 돌아보면 어땠던 것 같아요?
Mata, looking back to this game today,
폼이 좋았던 것 같은데.
how do you feel?
그냥 연습 과정에서 네, 좋은 점을 많이 발견해가지고
You know, in the
그거에
practicing
맞게
procedure,
플레이를 하다 보니까
you know, we
저희 플레이가
found
오늘은 좀
our niche and we found the champions that work out well.
결국엔 이제 연습의 힘으로 좋은 걸 잘 찾았다고 말씀을 해주셨는데
I guess you guys were able to perform well today thanks to your scrims and practices.
진짜 앞으로 쭉 이런 기세가 이어지지
I
않을까
hope you guys
팬분들께서
continue
기대할 수
to
있을 것
perform
같아요.
really well.
마타 선수 또 팬분들에게 우리 지금 잘하고
And you guys would like to say a few words to your fans before ending the interview.
요즘에 일정이 확실히 다른 시즌보다는 빡빡한데
You know, the schedule is pretty tight compared to the last season,
성적도 안 좋고 이제 강팀한테 많이 져가지고
and our performance hasn't been all that great, and we've lost a lot. So we're gonna make the best preparation and strive to be the best.
노력하겠습니다.
네.
감사합니다.
Thank
자,
you.
그리고 이제 쾌유를 저희가 기원을 해야 되는 스코어
And
선수도
Score, who
팬분들에게
recently had surgery, and hopefully he heals up soon.
혹시라도 저를 막 걱정해 주시는 분들이 있을 수
You know, there are
있으니까 뭐
people who
그렇게
may
큰
be,
수술은
you know, worrying about me, but it wasn't really a serious surgery.
나으니까 너무
And I
걱정하지
think
마세요.
I'll be
앞으로는
all good
경기에
soon.
되게 많이 신경 써서
And I'll,
어,
you know,
꼭
look
KT
forward to the
올스터를
matches that are
강팀으로
coming in the
만들어서
few weeks,
높은
next few
자리로
weeks.
갈 수 있게 열심히 노력하겠습니다.
I'll try my best.
응원의 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 승리만큼 중요한 거는 경기 내용인 것 같습니다. KT는 경기 내용
More important than the results is the process in which the game was played out. And KT was able to take out the victory today, and that is the end of the interview.
Thank you very much, Andy. Well, good to hear from Mata, and always good to see Score yet again. So, guys, if you're a fan of Rush, I recommend you go get those VODs. You hold them close because we might not see him for a little while if KT keeps playing like this with Score in the starting position.
And there's definitely an argument to have him in game ones against certain teams if you want a bit of aggression, but I think Score comes out if there are ever any defeats, and it's good to see him. You know, that history of the LCK on display in our new intro, and also on display in that OG player. Means that KT move up, and their next fixture, it is an interesting one as they come in heavy favorites against SK Telecom T1 in the Telecom War next week.
Yeah.
And SKT find their first win against KT. That would be a very interesting thing. Is a very interesting second match of the night. Hanwha Life Esports, formerly the Rocks Tigers, always in and around top 5 against an FLICKR Freaks team, smarting after their first loss of the season.
Now, Hanwha's been trending upward a little bit here as of late, taking that game off of GenG when Mong was starting in the top lane. But the FLICKR Freaks have been a pretty big force to be reckoned with. Kuro, of course, just racking up the MVPs yet again, is currently in first place with 4 wins, I do believe. It's going to be a bit of a longer break here, guys, because KT, I mean, they just took out GenG very swiftly, so we'll be back in about an hour. So go get yourself a snack, take a nap, whatever you got to do. Me and Pop will be right back here when that match gets ready to start.
But you're the criminal. No implication. You're unpredictable. the city on. Time to lose
Coming up next, Hanwha Life Esports, Afrika Freaks, 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Summer Split.